is at Louisiana Correctional Institute for Women at the Jetson campus. Would staff at LCIW please introduce yourself for the record?
That's Warren Boutte. Morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Tara P., Records Manager. Good morning.
Good morning.
Lieutenant Scott. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, thank you. And I think we're ready for our first case, and I'd ask staff to introduce the case while you are bringing the offender in.
This is the case for Pamela Frugier, DOC 578-976. We have no participants.
Okay, thank you. There we go. Good morning, Ms. Frugier.
Good morning.
Ma'am, would you introduce yourself to the parole panel? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
My name is Pamela Frugier. My DOC number is 578976.
Okay, and I think you must have heard the introductions of the parole panel. So let me just explain to you how the process will work. I'll read some identifying information into the record. Your case has been assigned to Ms. Pearl Wise. So after I finish the preliminaries, I'll turn it over to her and she'll ask you some questions. We'll hear from Warden Boutte, and at the very end, you'll be allowed to make a statement before we reach a decision. Okay. So, Ms. Frugier, you're classified as a first felony offender. You were sentenced. You are currently doing a 20-year sentence for crime against nature, carnal knowledge, and indecent behavior with a juvenile. Your parole eligibility date is March the 1st, 2021. You don't earn good time, and your full term date is November 2nd, 2029. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Wise.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Okay.
Good. That's breathe. Good.
Yeah.
I see that you got a bachelor's degree. Tell me about that.
Yes, ma'am. I have a bachelor's degree through Ashland University in communications. I also received a minor in business administration. Whenever it was a 3-year process, I had also gotten an associate's degree in general studies first. It was a program they started here at LCIW, and when I graduated, I actually graduated with honors.
Great. Well, congratulations. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. And in your letter that your mother sent in, she said that you helped over 100 individuals get their GED. Is that correct?
It's closer to 250 actually.
Oh,
I've
great.
been a high-set math tutor since 2011, and we switched to the high-set in 2014.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for that.
Yes,
I tell you, you have definitely you've made a difference. You definitely made a difference in their lives. So, how long have you been in jail?
I've been in jail for roughly 11 and a half years.
Okay. So when you got arrested on 11/2/09, did you ever bond out?
I did for only a day. And then I was rearrested on another charge.
Okay. So it's 11/3/2009. You've been incarcerated. Okay. All right. So tell us about your programs. What have you had?
I have completed parenting classes, anger management classes. I've also participated in the Celebrate Recovery program, which helped me immensely to deal with the internal reason, like things that I had gone through even as a child and through adulthood. But I've also, on top of that, I will have received an IC3 certification, which is a computer literacy certification. And I helped pilot the Python computer programming course. And I was the first female inmate in the state of Louisiana to receive that certification.
Well, congratulations. That's the coding stuff?
Yes, ma'am. Like writing computer programs. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. Well, thank you for that. Oh, my. You didn't call out sex offender treatment. Have
Yes,
you had
ma'am.
that?
I did finish. I completed that course. It was a very long course. It took me quite a few years to finish it, but I did complete the sex offender course.
So tell me what you know now you didn't know before.
No, ma'am. One of the things was that having a support system was extremely important, and being open and honest with them and being able to discuss what I needed to do in order to not get into trouble in the first place.
Okay. Okay.
I also, yes, ma'am.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Also, another thing I learned was that it's our thoughts that can cause us to make choices that are not what we should do, that will lead us to be offenders.
Okay. Now the record, it kind of went both ways, that your husband, all of this was his, doing and not so much yours. What do you say to that now?
I would say that in part is true. However, I did have my part in this, and I did allow things that I should never have allowed to happen in my house, not only to my daughter, but also to myself. Looking back on that, I see now that my state of mind may have had a play in that, but ultimately it was my decisions. And when I should have left, I didn't. And I should have been stronger to have left.
Yeah, and protect your children.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I really appreciate you owning your participation in crime. I don't know if you know this or not, but there's law enforcement opposition against your early release. Okay. And of course, there's victim opposition. All your children oppose to your early release. I think somebody said that your early release, I'm going to read this verbatim, should be based on what the children desired and not on what you desired. What do you say to that?
It should be based on their decision, because ultimately it's them that I hurt.
Okay.
And so they should have a choice in this.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad to hear you say that. Now, if you are successful today in your release, what are your plans?
My plans first are to obviously find a job so that I can support myself, but also I want to be able to go and find a church that has a Celebrate Recovery or some type of support system where I can have other people than just my family that'll be there to help me when I'm in need.
That's good. Okay.
I also have plans. Yes, ma'am.
You go ahead.
Okay. I also have plans that I eventually want to be able to build. I've looked into tiny homes and self-sufficient living so that I can eventually have savings and things of that sort one day, so that I'll be able to support myself and not be such a burden on my family or the community.
So your residence plan is with your mother?
Yes, ma'am. Well, for now, yes, ma'am. I either with my mother or with my cousin is start out.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, ma'am. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Wise. Mr. Marabella?
Ms. Frichet, how are you today? My name is Tony Marabella. I've got a couple of questions. You've been in jail for over 11 years, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Sounds like you've done a lot of good things, a lot of good programs. You sound very intelligent. You've worked very hard. You've accomplished a lot of things. The crime for which you're in prison and the facts under which you were convicted are pretty devastating.
Yes, sir.
Tell me how this came about. I know Ms. Wise questioned you on your husband's role in this, but how did you get started in this?
And Doug. What do we always say, son? Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance.
So you only pay for what you need.
That's my boy. And you get out there and you make us proud, huh?
Bye, Uncle Emu.
Stay off the freeways. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This.
Well, sir, there was actually another party involved. My husband introduced me to a man online from Denmark and told me that I should trust him. And through online chats, I now looking back see a manipulation there. However, I had the choice of speaking to him. I now see that I should not have. But at the time, I was looking for attention for myself that I wasn't receiving from my husband. And so this man suggested things. And while I did protest from them, initially I made the choice to follow what he asked me to do at times.
Have you had any sort of a mental health evaluation of any kind during the course of your life? Not just while you've been in prison, but even before that?
No, sir.
Okay. And you've taken all of the sex offender courses.
Yes, sir.
2 years of it, okay?
Yes, sir.
Your children are in opposition, and I know you discussed that a little bit with Ms. Wise. What would you say to your children today? What would you say to them about what you did and how you feel?
The most I can say is that I apologize, that I should have made different choices. I should have protected them, and I didn't. I should have packed them in a car and left, and I can't, and I didn't. And I can never take that back. But the only thing I could ever ask is for their forgiveness and work to earn their forgiveness and their trust again.
Have you had any sort of contact with your husband?
No, sir.
Writing or anything like that?
He has written me a few times, but I've never responded.
Thank you. That's all the questions I have.
Ms. Frugier, you mentioned prior to incarceration, you never had a mental health evaluation. Have you had one since you've been there at LCIW?
No, ma'am. When I was in my parish, I had spoken with someone about, but they had put me on some medication for depression. But since then, I've not taken it since about 2012, and I haven't really spoken to a social worker or anything like that since then.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. I saw somewhere in the record where you were taking some medication for depression.
Yes.
And I just, okay. All right, I don't have any questions. My colleagues did a good job. Warden Boutte, is there anything you can offer?
Yes, ma'am. As far as her mental health status is concerned, I mean, she's high functioning, so she doesn't have any issues as it relates to her mental health status while being incarcerated. Other than that, I mean, her record speaks for itself with a disciplinary action. I think she has one DB report in her file, and the rest is she's been assertive with education. Other than that, I have nothing to add.
Thank you, sir. Is there anything you'd like to say, Ms. Frugier, a statement you'd like to make?
Yes, I'd like to thank y'all for this opportunity, because I know there's some women who don't ever receive this opportunity. And I'd just like to ask that y'all have mercy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, is the panel prepared to vote? Ms.
I have
Wise?
I have one other question.
Okay.
The adverse the ACE was done on you for your adverse childhood, and you scored a 1. So you indicated there was some, you got some unresolved issues, but you didn't have a traumatizing childhood. Would that be accurate to say?
Yes, ma'am. I was sexually abused once as a child, and that was prosecuted. But other than that, no, ma'am.
At what age?
At 8, the age of 8 years old.
Oh, okay. And that person didn't live in the home. That person, okay.
No.
I think that was your girlfriend's father or somebody, right?
Right. It was her uncle. Yes, ma'am.
It was her uncle.
Right.
Is this your first hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I'm prepared to vote now, Chairman.
All right, Ms. Wise.
Okay. I really commend you for all the hard work that you've done. But today I'm going to vote to deny because of the strong victim opposition and the strong law enforcement opposition. I encourage you to stay the course and write back when you're eligible for a rehearing. That is my vote.
Thank you, Ms. Wise. Mr. Marabella?
Ms. Frugier, you have done a tremendous job while you have been in prison. There's no question to that. You are clearly on the right track. I have some concerns myself, and the concerns have to do with what happened. Certainly, there's opposition. That means something to me as well. I'm very concerned about that. I would feel a lot more comfortable if you had a mental health evaluation and got a clean bill of health, or got some medication if you need it. My vote today would be to deny as well, but I would encourage you to keep the course and perhaps look into trying to get some mental health help, just to make sure the next panel that you come before can see all of that information. So good luck to you and keep fighting.
Okay.
And Ms. Frugier, I do concur. Really pleased with the work that you've done in helping others. I think we need to focus on you at this point. I would also encourage you to see if you can seek out a mental health evaluation, so at least that information would be available to the next panel. Based on the opposition, though, my vote today is to deny your parole, but with a strong recommendation that you do reapply when you're eligible to do so. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.